Okay, we're here right now. We're going to listen to Tes Zayin Amud Aleph. Iboilu. I think I might have did this, but we're going to stop on here. Iboilu. Zakti Heli Gemara. The Gemara asks, Ainsham Afer, Ainsham Afer, Mahu Shitin Afer. Just a cute, for those who have struggled learning, remembering what a difference between Afer and Afer is. One's dirt, one's ash. So Afer is with an Aleph, and that is A. Afer is A. Aleph A. That's how I remember it. If it doesn't work for you, don't use it. Okay, Zok Gemara. So Mahu Iboilo. Ein Sham offer Mahu Shitin Efer. Liba the base Shammai Lo Tiboilach the Ami Lo Mitzinu Efer Shakar offer. Beishamai in the Machlekes of Beishamai B'Tzil by Kisei Adam, they hold that you can't use offer even over there, Efer even over there, because they say you can never use Efer in the place of offer. Kita Bailach and Liba the base of Ami Mitzinu Efer Shakaru offer. My even according to Beisel that holds by. Kisei Hadam, you're allowed to do it. What are we going to do over here? Afagav the ikri offer my Afagav the ikri offer hachal karka hamishk. Maybe even according to Beisel that says that offer really is aper and interchangeable. But over here the pasuk says befeish bekarka mishkan in with the earth of the mishkan. So maybe it's dafka offer. Aydilma high bekarka mishkan is not to be dafka offer, but it's like the Isay ben Yehuda or the Isay ben Menachem. The two drugs we had on top of Amud of whether I could use a kupa or whether it could be it has to be prepared, and it has to be put into the dirt first. Then, what was the other Joshua? They shouldn't be betach kupa and it was to be mabel shila noiv given the other places that for other places of kedusha that you could bring from there. I think that's the drush over there. Fine. So the two drush over there is that. So is it for those two drush or is it for dafka offers? Nothing about right. Hashma, we're going to bring a right number mishmal. The shloishim kamis halacha. Kavas mikra the halacha. It's more like the Messiah trumps the pasuk. The Torah says you should do kisei adam, bayach, kaya, and by an oif, and the halacha is you could do by anything. You could use anything to cover. The Torah says that you cannot shave with a razor. This is talking about not a nazir, right? This is talking about Gimel. No, right. It's talking about a nazir. Sorry, the nazir. It says by nazir he can't use the tar. We say he can't use anything. The Torah says that a woman should receive her get on a sefer. You can write it even on an olive branch. Olive branch is actually a very ironic way to give you. I forget, but you can write it even on a karen of an animal, even mamish anything. You can write it even on an eved, mamish even about chai. You can write it on anything. I'm pretty sure, but halacha b'chol davar. But in Isa, and if you're right that offer and afer over here are by Sotah are interchangeable. Lichshav nami high. So let him also say that the offer that we also trump the halacha over here. It says in the pasuk offer, and we could do anything. We could do at least afer. We could be married afer. The Gemara Tan V'Shayir. He left that out for the Gemara. My Shayir, right? The Gemara, we never say that the Tana leaves out one thing. That makes no sense. If he's going to leave out, that means he must have left out more than one thing. And the Gemara Shayir Mitzayir. Tanya V'Hayu B'Yameshvi Galachas Kol Sarah. On the seventh day, he should shave his entire body. Klal, that's a klal. Kol Sarah has all his hair. As Rishon, as Zikmev, as Gabi saying of his head, his beard, and his eyebrows. Prat. That's right. That's mafar those three areas. That's kol sari galeach chaz v'kal. Now you have a klal afterwards. So you have a klal part of klal. If then elik ena prat. Ma prat mafarish makam kinos seir v'nira. Any the beard, the head, and the eyebrows are what's the talashav between them? They have they're a collection of hair. In other words, they're not just here like on an arm, which is like sporadic. It's like a real keenness of hair, a real densely populated hair space. And it's megula. Even again, when the person knows it's megula. It's not hidden from the body itself. We're gonna see what in a second. I've kamakim kineser v'nera. And so any place that is a kineser and is megula, again without clothing, right? That we're going to see in a second. So my Rabbi Sarah Haraglayim. What do we come to Marba? We come to Marba here from the pubic hair. So we're using a lashon saginah. Actually, said we're using a very edel lashon, but it's come to marbe seir in ba'isamakom. So therefore, it's not magula because he's wearing pants, right? But if he's standing naked in front of you, you could see his head, his beard, his eyebrows, and his pubic area, right? My miyat. What do you? So what can't you see? What's the miyat over here? Miyat the base hasechi. With the kuli gufa, you come to me my base hasechi, the armpit, because if I'm standing in front of you, you can't see the armpit here, even though it's a kina sefer. So it's come that so that's memayit the base hasechi out. It's enoi nira, and the kulagufa on his back here, on his legs, areas that are not thick here, and on his arms, they're magula, let's say, his arms, his legs, his back is magula, but it's not a kinaseir, so therefore it's also mamayit. But the halacha is again. So this we're saying this is what the pasuk tells us is a klal part klal, and that's what we're considering right now. We're going to see it might change in a second, but right now in the kasha we are in a place where we're holding that this is called the mikra because it's the pasuk and it's learned out from the pasuk. And we see the Hilchas Megal Chadlas, you shave him head to toe, every single place that hair gets shaved. The Tanan, how do we know that's halacha? The Tanan, Bola, the Hakatas Mitzayra, Ma'avatar, called the Sada, you up top to bottom. The Katani Sefer, but Yamashim Megalachta, Tegalachas Shnia, Kedalachas Rishayna. And the second one is like the first one. And that's what we're talking about. This whole Josh is talking about the second. The first one is everyone holds that you. I think that you do the first. I think it says it beferish in the pasuk, but the handle is in the second one, and we're learning after the second one is just like the first one. So that's the kasha, right? So that's the teretz. The teretz is that he was megala. He left out mitzayra, he left out saita, and he listed the other three, which is kisei adam, nazir, and get. They switch it from Derabanan to Midrashi. So in other words, it doesn't say Beferish in the pasuk. So that's why it's not considered a share. We're not leaving out. Now, how does he figure out why he's not? It's interesting. According to Nachman, he's answering only why. Oh, he's answering why it's not. Oh, that's what he's saying. It's not a Maishar and Haishar. You cannot tell me that he left over Mitzayra because Mitzayra wasn't a real. Mitzayra wasn't a real leaving out because it's only a drasha. It's one of the Yudin. It doesn't say beferish in the pasuk. You should shave him only his eyebrows, his head, his beard, and his pubic area, and we're going to shave his whole body. It says to limit from there. Papa Amar. So therefore, we're saying it's not a good Maishar and Haishar. We're left with the kasha why you only left out the fact that he left out saita should be taka a riot. Papa Amar kika chashiv halacha akeres v'akeres ha akeres umaysefasi. He only counted things that were mamayit what the pasuk did what wasn't mamayit. In other words, we're taking away from the pasuk. The pasuk says that anything could work. The pasuk says that only. They're all like that. One second. It's all Ikeres U'Mesefes. I'm not sure I understand this answer. I don't understand how I learned it today. They were handling with Nazir why it's Mesefes, but all of them are Ikeres. Okay, I'm not sure I understand the stats. I have to get back to it tomorrow. I learned it. Okay. Right, okay, so how Kevis Mesefes again? Why is this more Mesefes than Kisei Adam? Kisei Adam also it only says Afar, and we're being mad about a bunch of things. So why that's also Mesefes? We're being Iker. What's that cure by Kisei Adam? Okay, I don't understand this. Fine. Right there. Rashi Amar Hamas Nisamani Rabbi Shmali. Now this took me for a loop this Gemara, and I hope that I understand it now. Rashi, Muhammad Nisa Mani Rabbi Shmali. Our Mishnah, our Brisa is Rabbi Shmal. The Dosh Klal part of Klal. So he holds halacha lemaisa. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't figure this out, but he holds halacha lemaisa. You do not shave a metzora top to bottom. Kedalas, the Mishnah that holds it Kedalas is Rabbi Kiva. Kedalas mani. Who's the shita of it? Who's the shita of Kedalas that you shave him head to toe, and that would be like a steer on the other. No, it's another shire. Rabbi Kiva he the darash riba umiyut the Tanya v'habu yom shvi yigalach es chol sa'aray. Riba that's a riba, right? It's called as a riba, especially as a kind of as gaba ein of miyat. It's called sorry. You got like a riba, riba akol. My riba the kule gufa. You're being mad by the whole body. My miyat, where you come to me, miyat seir shebetoich hachaitim. You're taking the you're being mamayit only the thing that is least comparable to the riba. That's the difference between a riba and a klal part of klal. Klal part of klal has to be like the prat, and riba is just being mamayit one thing basically. My havila. So my so what's the halacha? Tashmad Amaravuna Barashi Amarav Ain't Sham Upper maybe Rakvufis Yarak Umakadesh. You take withering, decomposing vegetables and you makadish it, means you put it into the ground in that ama alama, and that's what you use. The loihi, the gears they switch a little bit because once the one wants to bring a riot from here. And basically the point is offer, the point is he holds and bring a riot that's how he passes, I think, that you cannot bring whatever you want. It has to be dirt, mamish, or vegetables that turn into dirt, fine. Three things that we have, three processes we have to do have to be seen. Upper site, upper site, the efer para, the roik yivama. So upper site is what we're dealing with right now. The dirt has to be put into the water, and you have to see the water. You have to see the dirt. But efer para is when you put the ashes into the para aduma mixture. You have to be able to see the efer over there. The roik yivama when it's a chalutza really, but when a chalutza spits, part of the process she has to spit like a gazunta a lugi. It can't just be like a little shach. What's it? It's the dayanim have to see it. Even when you do by a mitzayra, dam tzipor. This was very geschmack to be learning this, and we're also learning the parashas. I stopped today. That was very geschmack. Af dam tzipor. Af dam tzipor. It also has to be the dam tzipor by the mitzayra tahira process. That you also have to see the blood of the tzipor. You can't put so much water in. You can't put so much water into well, it's not really you're putting the water first, but you can't put so much dam into the water. You can't put so little dam into, or you can't put the dam into so much water that you don't see the dam anymore. My time is Shmuel. It says bedam. Oh, the Josh is from the last part of the passage. Es tzipor achaya yikach oisav es eitz ha'erez ve'es shni ha'telas ve'es ha'oiz tavel oisav es tzipor achaya dam tzipor yashugar al chayim. So that's the passage says you need the dam and the mayim chayim. So it says betani bedam. To the right, it says bedam, yochel bedam. I would think just to put it into the dam. I would say just to use dam, v'loy b'mayim, tam v'loy b'mayim, even mayim, yochel b'mayim, v'loy bedam. I would think that you could have water and that dilutes the water to the dam that you could really see it. V'loy bedam. Okay, so how do you have both? Maybe mayim should dam tzipor nikarem. You have to use enough water that the tzipor doesn't get, that you can still see the dam tzipor. What's the share? That revius? It's the revius. The Rabbanan have to use it for the group to teach you as follows. The it has to be toivel in the dam and the water. This errors and this whole contraption of the azav and the class and the red string and the whole thing has to be dipped in water and in blood. In them. You already have to repeat. We already, I guess, it said in an earlier process, you have to get mayim chaim and dam. So just say, do it in them. Dam mayim lamali. Right, so dam mayim lamali. L'nikar must be, like I said before, that the dam has to be nikar in the water. He said you have to do it in them. So you maybe have a bowl of water, have a bowl of dam, and you dip, and each one might have what is problem. Okay. Right? So the mayim is coming to tell you that you need to be mixed in. To mix it, I have another pasuk. But again, Rabbi Shmuel is the one that says that I need to right. So how do you know to be marvin lechatchila? The arvan karachin. So v'shakat tzipor echas, and this over here, the Josh is from the second half. The tzipor kind of shakat as the tzipor echas as kli hecheres al mayim chaim. So you shecht it into the kli mayim chaim. So obviously you're gonna have both. You don't need another pasuk. I mean, bar shakat tzipor echas fine. Ramana imahu hava mina lishchatei samach lamana. Shecht it right next to the keli. Then kitnu the levridin and pitch its neck so it the blood doesn't go anywhere. So you know you have to shecht it next to the water, but then you can be makabel at another thing. Now, okay, so like this. And I guess Rabbi Shmuel does not have such a havamina, so he doesn't have this issue. But so okay, Rabbi Shmuel learns from the pasuk of the fact that the fact it says extra mayim and dam. He comes to teach you that the dam has to be nicker in the mayim. I stuck to the shear of Chazal of the Revius, but now let's have this giant pigeon, and the blood is just gonna completely look like blood. It's not gonna look like water or the I have this tiny little pigeon, and it's the other way around. Didn't I tell you literally means don't take away from halacha l'maisa, but I think Rashi explains that he's saying trust the chacham that they gave a shir that works. In this species of this tzipor drar, this is what the Rabbanan said to use, and there's no shear that's so big that it's not the Rabbanan. It's not the Rabbanan. The Chazal said, the Torah says what to use. But Shir Rabbanan, this year of the Revius, this breed of bird, this species is not going to have such a big bird that's going to be matcha the mayim, and it can't have something so small that the water is going to overwhelm it. Rabbanan, pick them up from the mayim puzzle. Actually, you have a Bryce that says if you put the water in, you hick them up for the mayim. This is going back to Mesaita. If I put I'm pretty sure we're talking about over here. Yeah, pick them up for the mayim. Pick them up from the mayim. I put the water. If the offer first, it says you have to put the offer onto the water. What if I do the hafuch? Right? So the Tanakh says it's possible. My time of Shem. It says by mechatas. It's not offer. It's afer. Right? By Echmechat, this is Afer. Shina HaKasav b'mashma Ladan Heimenu Gezer Shavah. The Parsec uses a weird word, which doesn't, right, it's not accurate, it's not offer, it's Afer. These are Gezer Shavah. Neman kan offer, Mahalan offer. Mahalan offer al gabi mayim, av kan offer al gabi mayim. That's Lechatchila. Uma kan hiktim offer l'mayim kasher, av lahalan hiktim offer l'mayim kasher. Hasaminal. But there, how do I know that it's that taka by paradum, how do I know that it's taka that you could do it either way? Hasminon, Trey Kroy, Ksivi. Ksiv Allah, Ama Efa Bereshe, Ksiv Mayim Chaim Al Keli. So it says, Ksiv Allah, that what? Dalid. Ksiv Allah, Latame Me'efa Seifes Achad is Benosan Allah Mayim Chaim Al Keli. So it says, so we're learning at that what? Again, Mayim Chaim, okay, fine. So it says you could put. I guess I'm not sure. Remember halan offer makan hikdim offer hasa minalan trei kroi ksiv Allah alma afer beresha because you put the mayim chaim I guess on the afer. Because if Mayim Chaim al Keli, and you see that, and it's mashal that the Mayim Chaim is touching the Keli direct, and there's no Afer inside. So the first time you say, no, okay, Allah, it means to put the Afer on top of the. I don't have this. I'm going to Afer Beresha. I don't have how Allah is Meduik is Afer Beresha. But okay, I guess you put the water on the Afer. So Allah is mashal Amal Afer Beresha. Allah is that the water goes on top of the dirt, on top of the Afer. Because if Mayim Chaim al Keli and Mayim Chaim al Keli is mashal that there's no hefsek between the Mayim Chaim and the Keli, so that means that there's nothing in there that the Mayim Chaim is first. When we see Mayim Beresha, you see that we see a reference to Mayim Beresha. Okay, it's that. Vatzazen nice and Vatzazen nice, whichever one you want. But Rabbanan al Keli dafka, the Rabbanan who hold that it's puzzle, they say al Keli is dafka. Allah of the Arvan. The reason why you have to the word Allah is to be ma'ariv and it has to be mixed in. Ema Allah of dafka of al Keli shtehechiyus and bekli. Maybe Allah is dafkum, which means that the Afer has to go first, and the Mayim Chaim al Keli means that it has to go directly from the river into the Keli, and it can't be put into a klisheni. Dafka al keli should use some bakli. It has to be mamish levedek from the river into the keli. Mamatzinu b'kamak machshel lamala avkan machshel lamala. There's nowhere that you're not allowed to put the dirt, the afer afterwards. So it's referring to Saita. So, but just like by Saita, that's the process. It makes sense that that by Mechatis is that for sure works. All right, we're gonna do another Mishnah if you guys could hang out for a little. Look at the Mishnah lifter. It's a Megillah. Where in the parsha do I start writing? In the Imlay Shachav Ish, the At Kisatis Tachas Ishech. So she starts writing the if you didn't do anything wrong, then then you're gonna get brachas. The Ein Kaisavish Bia Kainas Isha. Well, it doesn't say you're gonna get brachas over there. It says you're gonna be nucky. You don't write the part of Hishbia Kain because that's just like the narrative part. You don't write that. This is the curse that Hashem is going to give you Allah Neshua. It's going to collapse the stomach and your legs are going to flop out. Because again, that's also narrative. You don't mafsik. You start from the beginning, you go straight to the end. You don't write this whole balagan. Ella, Mamish just the curses. We're going to see what machlekes is. They're all learning the same positive. In the case of Amra Isha Amin Amin, and you don't write Amin Amin, which I guess Rabbi Yehuda would think because if you're just writing the curses, Amin is referring to the cursing, and I guess that's a sarah. Now, just quick reference because the Gemara has Vavam and Beis. We had a machlekes with Rabbi Yehuda and Tanakam of how much water to use. The Gemara says the same way they have machlekes on the writing, they have machlekes on the water. This is the machlekes on the writing the Gemara over there was talking about. So obviously Rabbi Yehuda that has very little to write needs very little water. He needs a revis. The Tanakam needs a look. A chatzi look. I'm sorry. Tanakam says chatzi look, and he says revis because he has a few lines written on. So the Gemara is going to analyze the machlekes really quick. My comiflagi. So the Gemara usually doesn't go through. The Gemara, it's funny. The Gemara just assumes that May is a Tanakam because it's Tam Mishnah. That's the pasuk. That's the pasuk that's telling the kohen to write down this parsha on the sefer by the site. The Meir alais mamish, right? The word alais just tells me that it's just a curse. Alais is coming to rabbis flawless. Habayis machmas brachas. The alais comes to tell me that it's the calls that I hear from the brachas. You should also write because again, if I say if you didn't do anything wrong, then you get the waters then you're gonna be clean. So that means that if you did something wrong, what's the come? Tell them I don't write down the kalas of Mishnah Torah also. Oh, Mishnah Torah is that talking about I just assumed that it was Saita again, but I think it could be the Teichacha. Hold on, I'm not sure if it's referring to what does Rashi say? Let's say if I have a mashma always to Mishnah Torah. I think it's talking about. I'm not 100% sure because it's not the only clause. Okay, it could be that it's referring to the parsha site again. It could be talking about the I should look it up inside. The commandments and the Kabbalah's amen. The commandments, in other words, to tell the anything that's not directly clause. Because it says what are we talking? Because of es ha'ala, so he just remember es. But esim like darish. He's not darish to es. Rabbi Yehuda kul muta darish. He learns the whole pasuk in miyut. Alais mamish. Ha'alais muta klalish habayis machmas brachas. So the hay of the alais is coming to memayit the brachas klalish. Eila muta klalish mishatayra. Ha'eila muta tzavais v'kavalis. Perfect. Okay. So that's the three machlekes. Very geschmack. We said that by the ha'alais is coming to be marbe, the brachas, the curses, the kalis that come from brachas, but the ha'ela is coming to be mayit, tzavais v'kabalas. So how does that work out? You have two hays and you're using them opposite ways. Hey the guy he the guy the miyut. So he's saying very simple. He's saying that when ha'ela is for sure a miyut, alais is a class. So if it says ha'alais, that means that I'm being marba. The hay is coming to be marba. And by ha'ela, it comes to me mai. But how Leslie, first of all, Leslie, Mei Miklal, Lav, Atashmeyahin, Amr Tanchon. Okay, so he says, he said, again, it took me a while to count this. But how Leslie, Mei Miklal, Lav, Atashmeyahin, the mayor doesn't learn out, how Leslie, the Mei Miklal, I think what he's asking, he does not, right. What's he saying? He's saying that the mayor holds you need a Tanai Kafel, which means that from the fact that the fact that the brachas you wouldn't hear klaus. In other words, it shouldn't be part of the klaus. You shouldn't be able to be marba with ha'alais klaus that come from brachas because he doesn't hold it as mechal alav at Now we're using it inversely now, mechal hein at alav, but that the lashon right. The mayor should not be should not based off of mayor's svara of I need a tanai kafel, which means if I say something and the inverse is not assumed, is not implied. So it means my brachas that infer a klala should not be able to be included in klalas. So ha'alei should not be able to include klalas. I think that's the part. Amar Tancham hanki or it says the lashon of hanki instead of hanaki, it says hanki. You could read it hanaki, hanki, which refers to choking, and that is a direct curse, and that is a riboy that it's that is it's a little subtle, but it's written out a curse, even though again that's not what the pasuk is trying to say. The pasuk is giving for brachas; it's going to come to be clean, but referring to it's more overt. The curse is more overt than in a regular case of mechal atashmei. Darsha b'kiba ish v'isha zacha shkina b'neim lo zachu ish eichata. Amarava udi isha adifa midesh. He said it's more prevalent or it happens faster by the isha than by the ish. Why? My timer. The idea is that Hakadosh Baruch Hu's name is by isha in isha, right? Yeah, both of them have ish, right? Ish is aleph yud shin, and isha is aleph yud shin hey, or aleph shin hey really. Aleph Shinei. So the point is that the Aish by a Isha is already together. So all you need is the Hay to just be Machik a drop, and you already have Aish. But by a man, the Yud is in between, and it's Mamish Mafsik, and it's more separated. We had in the beginning of the Masechta, I saw in the bottom since they brought it down. I was talking about to that, so it was very geschmack. In the beginning of the Masechta, we said that it says that a niyuf and kas in a house destroys the home. And the Gemara says it's dafka by women. Now, obviously, it's not good for a man either to have to sleep around and be angry. But the Gemara says that by a woman it happens much faster. And it's referenced over here also the same idea that a woman has, I guess, is judged a little bit more harshly when it comes to certain things, and if she slips in certain areas, it's more detrimental. Okay. So I saw two different sheets and I didn't understand one of them. I think that Rashi brings down very simple about Niyah. And it actually stems with the Gemara very geschmack because we're talking about a woman getting blown up because she was in Zana. And then this Isha Zeich B'nayim was also talking about the same sugya. But according to the Ein Yaakov that he brings down, it's talking about Stam Shalom Bayis, which is a little bit, I guess it's not totally off topic, but still it's a little bit, it's less glad. And it's also why is a dafka that it should be more, Isha should be more, okay, why should you judge more? What's it called? Okay, we'll get down to the bottom. Amr, and there's a Mishnah there, but we'll call it a night. Amr Ravam Fnema Amr Tara Have Afar L'Saita Zachsu Yatzim Menu Bein Avram Avinu Dechsiv Be Afar VeAfar V'Loi Zachsu Tachsil Afara. You see, this Afar has dual abilities. You can go side very high like Avram Avinu, referencing to Avram Avinu, and it can be used in a very low way, very detrimentally to curse it till she goes back to the ground. Darish Rava, B'schash Amar B'Mabinu Avanech Afar Zachem Bar the Shtei Mitzvahs Af Efer Para V'Afar Saita. We have the Efer of Para Duma and the Afar Saita. Now Saita is a big mitzvah because again it's take a woman who's acting inappropriately. Her husband is jealous about her, so it could come to be a place where if they didn't have a way out, the Anachanami, if she was taken guilty, she's going to get blown up, and it's horrible. But there's a way to have achlata. A husband can take her wife. Husband can take his wife to the Beis Hamikdash, and it comes out she didn't do anything. Okay, now you have to figure out you have to go to therapy and move on from there. But at least you have achlata on what happened. But economy alpha kisei adam. In fact, in Gemara we also have kisei adam. So why do you say that we don't get that because of I'm going to say alpha vapor? Also, there's no real hana. In other words, there's no ikov that there's nothing that kisedam accomplishes. If I shecht an animal, if I shecht ifis and or chayas, and I decide it's not for me this mitzvah, I'm pass. I can still eat the animal. There's no don't have to wait. There's nothing that there's no din I have to wait. Even if I don't want to let go of the mitzvah, I don't have to wait till it happens. Till it doesn't really accomplish anything. The goof, my goof doesn't get anything from it. Obviously, we have skar mitzvah, but the goof, it doesn't do anything for me. No, sure. As in the now he told Abimelech he didn't want to take from. One person he didn't, and one person did. I think from Abimelech. Hey, let me just give me a second. Dalid. I think it's from Abimelech he didn't want to take. Let's see if Rashi says quickly. No. Okay, Rashi doesn't say what it is. I'm pretty sure it's Abimelech. Okay. Zachabana, we were zeicher b'shnei mitzvah is a chut shel tcheles v'tzu shel tefillin. We have tcheles and tefillin. Bishlam v'tzu shel tefillin. Again, going back in the previous thing that we have to have anna from the etzem mitzvah. So by tefillin makes sense. Chesiv rochal me'aretz kishem Hashem nikra alecha. V'tanya v'lazer gadol. Everyone had the going. We're going to fear us. Mehira. This is a tefillin shabarish, and I think the reason why tefillin shabarish more because it has the shin and the dalet is visible, whereas the shal yad is stamazay hidden and the shame is even more hidden. What do I benefit? Beguf again from tchelis. Tanya, why is this blue special? Why does Hashem pick blue? What's his favorite color? Tchelis daimel yam. Tchelis looks like the yam, daimel rikia yam looks like the rikia, daimel kisei covet. Shenem vayaru es elekei Yisrael v'tachas ragel v'kamasi livnas hasapir. This looks like the sapphire. We'll get to mash hashemayim l'tayar. Chesiv kamara even sapir the mus kisei. And it says it looks like the sapphire looks like the kisei ha covet. So again, the Gemara didn't really answer, but they say like a person can mamish be not just that he gets reminded of the mitzvahs, but a person can mamish be zeicha to a gilei shechina, a real connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu through the tchelas. Right, Shchayach, I'm sorry that we ran so late today, and
Okay.
tomorrow we will continue.
Thank you so much.